Welcome to the Making Money in the Music Business podcast, where we share insightful views on a variety of topics in the music industry that can help you make more money from your music business. And now, here are your hosts, Dr. William E. Smith and Kenya McGuire Johnson.
Hey, Kenya.
Dr. Smith.
What's going on?
Oh my God. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We are back.
We are back. And those of you who are listening to us, if you hear me sounding all extra, it's because we're also on YouTube now. So There's a video going right now. And I haven't discussed this with my co-host yet, but I believe we're going to have a way where if you want to join us by video during these pre-recordings, he's looking at me now like, what? Okay. I'll talk to him in our business meeting, but I got an idea. So you guys, those of you who have special privileges, would be able to come on in the room with us while we do these pre-recordings. But welcome back. This is our first episode in 2021.
Yep.
Oh my God.
2021. We're here.
Wow. We're here. We are here. And I guess by the time this airs, we're recording this a couple days after. I don't even know what you want to call that. I don't even know what.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
It's just a show of ugliness. But
yeah, but it was to me just a show of who we are. It's just anyway. But the Capitol rioting, we're just a couple days. We're recording this a couple days after that, so we hope that all our DMV family. I know, Will, you're in the DMV. I don't know if you've gotten into the city, down into DC at all. I would imagine not. I was gonna say
since I barely step out the house. I'm ordering groceries in, so I don't even go out to the store.
I was about to say, he don't even go and pick up a leaf in his yard. So
Nope.
I'm in Chicago, but I'm in the burbs, so I do go for a walk. I try to get outside, and the weather's actually been pretty good in Chicago. So I just hope everybody is safe. And by the time we listen to this, who knows what will jump off. I know that, Trump is definitely, he's fighting for his life. So he is going to burn it down. What does he have to lose? That's where he's at.
We're just keeping our fingers crossed out here. So
but just everybody stay grounded. I'm just telling everyone, please do whatever it takes to allow you to feel safe and grounded and connected to source and to your family, to people you love. That's really honestly what's going to make this all right, not what's externally happening right now. So
keep your visions of the future. That's all you got to focus on.
So we're in a new year, and it's just you and I today, and we are now on YouTube. If you guys want to find us on YouTube, we'll have in the show notes the link. You should be able to see it. I believe if you search 3MB podcast, you should be able to find us on YouTube. And this is episode 156. So we'll have it labeled. Yeah. So make sure we're really we're expanding, growing. It's really exciting. We've already done some pre-recordings of some guests that are coming up, and we got some goodies. Goodies.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening back to those, and also the ones you got coming up too. So
we got some good ones coming up.
Saw the calendar.
We got some good ones coming up too. So, all right, but it's just Will and I today, and we do have kind of a new year, kind of get their brains moving as we're starting this 2021. But before we do that, Will has a music tip.
Well, pretty much the whole show is a music tip.
It is.
But this tip is basically MAAM, and I think you might hear it again in one of our upcoming podcasts because I was introducing it. But what the MAAM show is coming up. It usually happens every January, and it's a National Association of Music Merchants, and it's basically a place where they get to showcase their new software, the new hardware, instruments, and it's an awesome event that a lot of musicians love going to. And unfortunately, because of COVID, it's not going to be physical this year, so it's going to be online. So they're going to have a bunch of online activities, conferences, whatever, and talks. So that's going to be part of the situation for January. Let's get you the dates. It is January 18th through the 22nd. And we'll put the link in the show notes. But it's at attend.believeinmusic.tv. And of course, there are going to be breakout sessions and demonstrations. So that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never gone to MAAM, but I know so many musicians who go and just speak so highly of it. And so we'll see kind of how this virtual landscape treats it. We'll see. But thank you. Which kind of brings us, here we are. I wish I could say, and now the venues are open, and now everybody can go travel, and everybody can go.
Yeah.
But that is not where we are. And quite frankly, we're probably not going to really, I don't know, in my opinion, be in that. I don't see things going back in. I don't see that we will recreate what we had. I do think that whatever is to come is going to look different.
Yeah.
Because we have now conditioned our audience to receive music in a bit of a different way. So getting them deconditioned or to get them back, again, it's going to be a little bit different. But that's what kind of brings us today is like, where are we at? What are some of the current events? What are some of the things that are, impacting us? There's a lot of stuff, and there's no way we can spend our little 30 minutes being able to cover all of that. But Will has something that he wants to kind of bring up and get and let people become more aware of what a lot of artists are doing, and how you as a listener audience can prepare yourself. And then I'm going to talk more about another thing and how COVID literally is impacting singers. So so Will.
Well, yeah, it's basically current events. Like I wanted to talk earlier. I wanted to bring everybody up to speed with what's been happening, because in the industry, it's good to see how other artists react, or be proactive on certain things, and you can sort of mimic and sort of prepare yourself for your business of what you can do, or what you're going to do. And so all of these major artists, I'm talking major artists, who you would never ever think would consider selling their music, are selling their music. So they're selling their masters, and their rights to royalties, future royalties, to major companies like Universal, and then even to some investor companies. So I'm sure some of you already heard within the music community of Lil Wayne selling his catalog, and in his catalog was Drake's and Nicki Minaj's catalog. So he sold that catalog for $100 million. Now, I got some thoughts on that one.
Oh boy!
So I think he could have gone way higher.
Yeah, good grief. But anyway, go. Okay,
so
100 million, and I know that feels a lot, but go ahead.
It feels like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, and I'm gonna break this down for you all in a minute. Also, Taylor Swift sold her first 6 albums, I think. The rights to her first 6 albums. And Bob Dylan sold his entire catalog. This is Bob Dylan.
So now I will say, okay, so I have some thoughts.
He has a Nobel Prize for lyrics. So he sold
what did he sell his
entire
for?
catalog
Do you know
for
what
$600 million. 600 million.
Yeah. You know,
that's a little bit more than $500 million. So I can dig it.
But this is my thing. I don't think, like, you know, the future of music is so sketchy in terms of business right now. And the current state, you know, you have to understand, you know, people are used to making those level of artists are used to making hand over fist levels of money, right? And, you know, Bob Dylan, if he just does one show, you know, or one little tour, you know, he pretty much pays for like a decade of his life.
Yep.
He's also getting up in age. I get that. I think, though, one of the things that's triggering, the first thing that triggered in my mind is, you know, if you, not so much Bob Dylan, but definitely Lil Wayne and stuff, trendy music, right?
Right.
So how is that music, and even Taylor Swift, very, very trendy. It wasn't classic. Bob Dylan stuff is classic.
Right.
But there's another thing going on there because of his age, and I'm certain the way that his estate is going to be handled, trust. That money ain't just going to be sitting in his bank. Okay. That money is going to be investing and turning itself over triple time, which hopefully that's what Taylor Swift and Lil Wayne are also doing, is that while, yes, that amount might seem on the lower end for Lil Wayne, but if he's being smart, and I pray that he's got the right kind of legal team, it can be reinvested in a way that could potentially grow itself at a faster, in a faster and more impactful way.
But the thing that, and I'm sure they're getting good counsel on this. So some of them are, but I don't know. I doubt about Lil Wayne's counsel, because that was not a good move. Because that's you're talking, you know, some hits that Drake and Minaj had, and you know, Lil Wayne, you know, it's not classic in a sense, but at some point you won't ever know the value of your music, because situations happen, commercials change up. I mean, there's so many opportunities down the road that you can't even fathom for your music.
No, you're right.
And the Beatles catalog has definitely, you know, generated millions for people over the years. And you know, that's just the thing. You don't ever know what your catalog's worth. So if you're still pulling royalties in, you know, it's a good idea to at least keep your catalog. Or I like Taylor Swift's move, how she basically sold part of her catalog, but not the whole thing.
Right.
It makes, you know, just that makes a little bit more sense.
Right.
But, you know, that's the thing. So the things I want you all to think about with this situation is how it relates to you all at this point. Of course, I don't have a catalog worth 100 million. So, you know, hopefully it will be. But, you know, for us who are on a certain level, different tier, the key is to keep writing, keep developing your catalog, but also organize it and have it ready. This is your business. So if you ever get to that point, you'll have the opportunity to actually, you know, sell it with some value. So it's like if you're going to buy a house, you're not going to buy the house that's run down. You're going to buy the house that's been staged, that looks nice. They've done all the plumbing work, electrical, and all that stuff. So you want to do that to your music. You want to make sure your music is all taken care of. You got your metadata, you got your, you know, your copyrights, everything is in a folder that's organized.
Right.
So that's I think that's part of the lesson for us, but also to keep building your catalog, you know, because it has value. And at some point it might have a huge value.
Yeah. And if you know, if you're listening right now and you know, haven't really gotten into the writing side of things and are just feeling a little lost with that, I say this all the time. It just behooves you to learn how to write and to be able to, even if you're collaborating with other writers, having the ability to write and have ownership over your music is just really critical. So, you know, during this time of, you know, development, reflection, or what have you, and those of you who are afraid, maybe what you write, you don't think is good enough. This is the time to, you know, really begin to take yourself seriously. And not wait for, you know, the Instagram likes or the Facebook shares to decide if that song was worth, you actually getting it properly registered, properly copyrighted, properly done. Because like we'll say, you know, you never know. I mean, it's funny. I have a version of Lovely Day that I do now. I didn't write Lovely Day, of course. But the version that I do, I rearranged it. And of course, that was just me having fun. All I get is performance on that, you know, people stream it or whatever.
Right,
but
right.
I've had a couple artists do my rearrangement, and it's like, wow,
Right.
like, so you never know, you know, what's going to pick up. So you just really want to be able, which is another reason why I don't just do covers either. You know, that's what kind of got me away from like, okay, I can't, you know, just do covers. I got to make sure I do some original stuff because people may really feel that as well.
One way to think about it is, well, actually 2 ways to think about it. So you're looking for Instagram likes now, but imagine your Instagram likes in the future if that song is a hit.
Right.
And the other thing is, think of each song that you write as a lottery ticket.
Okay.
That will pay out.
I like that, Will.
It will pay out because at some point it's going to pay something. It may be $3, but one of them might be that $100 million big jackpot. So, but they're all going to pay out. That's the thing. They're all going to give you something.
Right. They're going to give you something. And like you said, even if it's, you know, it's like, oh, I'm only getting whatever. But, you know, understand that this music never goes away. Like once you create a song and it's just there, like and think about your own legacy, your own family, which is another reason why I was kind of thinking about Lil Wayne. He's probably also doing this in terms of legacy work.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows? I don't know, but hopefully he's at the level that he absolutely should have, you know, proper counsel. But, you know, those of you who, you know, watch Unsung and these shows and you listen to even our guests talk about how miseducated we are on the business. This is another reason why you just really, I cannot urge, you know, keep yourself attuned, whether or not you're being active or not. But if music is kind of this space that you understand the business, because it does not work the way that you intuitively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely not intuitive. No. If he took that money and bought some Bitcoin, he did very well.
Right. So you never know. You never know. They're not going to put that on the media right now. Yeah, I just said they're not going to put that on the media. All right. Well, great. Well, one of my, I guess, the current event, you know, obviously COVID it's here and it sounds like, you know, we're slowly getting the vaccine out. But those of you who have had COVID yourself, particularly if you are a singer or a wind instrument musician, that involves you. Yep, that would be you, Will. That basically involves you having to use your lungs. Okay, to use your lung. The lung factor is what this becomes. COVID, obviously, if you haven't paid attention, it attacks. It gets very aggressive on the respiratory system. And so what is starting to happen is those people who maybe even had a mild case, maybe were not necessarily hospitalized, but of course, those who were hospitalized and had to be treated and so forth, they are finding, you know, the post symptoms and the post effects of people with COVID. And there's a lot there. And if you start to research and Google that, you're going to start seeing they're starting to get people with complaints, residual things that have happened as a result. But one of the big things that's impacting, it's going to slowly probably come out, but it's starting to come out in the singing community, is the impact of COVID on now being able to sing post COVID. If you actually had the disease. And so, you know, I'm not going to get into all the science of it, but, you know, more or less, you know, and this anytime your body has any kind of incident or trauma to it, it starts to heal itself, but it can form scar tissue. It forms, you know, these other things to protect you that could actually, though, cause harm in other ways. And so the lung capacity, the ability for the lungs to, you know, to be able to really get that full volume in and, you know, take in all the air and then blow it out and sustain it and have the stamina and the endurance. That is where singers and wind instrument musicians are a little bit on a struggle bus. They're feeling it. And so that means if you are in this category and you had COVID, even if you did not have COVID, you want to understand then what do you do, right? What do you do? Do you just say, oh, well, I can't sing no more, I can't blow no more? No. That just means that you have to retrain your body differently. And a lot of people were singing wrong anyway.
Exactly.
And so what's happened to a lot of the singing community, at least, because as an instrument player, you're forced. You can't, it's not like you can go in and pull in your neck muscle and then some air come out. Like that's not, although there could be some compensation where you could probably do it a little bit more with not as much effort. But
we have the benefit of being able to circular breathe.
Right.
So if you learn how to do that, then, you know, it can compensate for the lack of lung capacity.
Right.
But yeah, I learned that like many years ago. Of course, it was during the whole Kenny G thing when he held the long notes and everybody was like, oh, circular breathing.
How do we do that?
Yeah,
singers can't do that.
Exactly. Singers can't do that. So
singers can't do that. But there are ways to train our diaphragm and to really utilize the capacity of our lungs in a way, because really singing, most people are singing from their throats. A lot of people sing, when we say sing wrong, it's because you're using, you know, this whole throat mechanism, and you'll see people, you know, using their mouth and using their muscles and tensing all up, when in fact the breath is how the vocal cords, once air hits it, that's what actually allows it to do the beautiful tones, the beautiful sounds, the sustenance, all of that is usually, it's really actually dependent on breath. And so if you use a whole bunch of muscles and constricting down on the larynx, it now has to fight against that to get the thing it wants out. And that's what a lot of people do, because instinctually you feel like you should be, you know, it's your throat. You feel like, you know, it's in your throat. Oh, my throat's sore. Oh, I better go suck on this. I got to drink some lemon. That don't have nothing, honestly, that has nothing to do with your lungs. In fact, if it did, you would die, because that'd be like drowning, right? So that's one of the things. I know we had Lindia Johnson, who I'm going to mention more in just a moment. You have an esophagus, and then you have the trachea. And so the esophagus has nothing to do with your vocal cords at all. That's why there are two tubes, so that food, water, all these things can go down to your stomach. And so the air, it's only air that's responsible with the trachea, and that's where your actual vocal cords are and larynx are. So when you think, oh, I can't drink this, just understand that that's not a literal direct. Now, hydration is important for your body, and so that's what's going to help you. But at any rate, what ends up happening is people think that, oh, if I just drink some tea, but still sing wrong, I'll be better. No, that's not it. You got to learn how to sing right. And so what's happening, people like Lindia, other vocal coaches that have training in the physiology of the vocal core, you know, of the vocal life, they are coming together along with Music Cares, which is sponsored by Grammys, to do a 3-part web series on how do we address this. And one, what is happening? What's really happening with this? What are the risks? All of that. Then 2, kind of going over what you can do.
Right.
So I know I was working with an artist who she did have COVID, and she said she's been struggling more to sing. And so if you know that you have had COVID, or if you are curious to know what would happen, I'm going to see if I can provide a link in our show notes. I was telling Will, I'm not sure if this is only open to Grammy members. I don't believe it is. I think it is open to the public and to the music, to the music community. I do believe it is free as well. It is going to begin on January 12th. And I have to look up, I'll put it in the show notes though. I know it's 2 p.m., but I can't remember what time zone. So I have to look and see what time zone that is. It could be Central, it could be Eastern, it could be, I don't know, but it is definitely on the 12th. That's the first part. And I'll try to see if I can hyperlink it. If for some reason I can't do that, I'll try to put in the show notes. I know that with Lindia, her website, you should be able to get some information by clicking onto that, or to Music Cares, because all of that, they should be able to direct you for that. So just understand that COVID is not just, a thing that's making us not be able to work in terms of gigs. It can literally, it has definitely, I know several people now at this point who have had COVID.
Right.
thankfully the majority, have survived, but I do know people who did not. So it's serious. It's not a joke. We'll do another podcast on, I can maybe ask you, well, what you think about the vaccine? What you think about
the vaccine? I think look, it's important to have it because, all of the benefits of it are important because in order, it doesn't matter if the side effects are really bad. They're not any worse than death.
Right.
So, I mean, so at the end of the day, if it helps to keep people alive, it helps to, to help rebuild our life and our, society, then, whatever we can do to do that, then let's do it.
Yeah, I'm about 95% with you on that. I am. I have some ethical, you know me, I got conspiracy stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I know you.
That's all. But I totally agree with you. You're not going to grow another leg. You're not going to pass out and be it. That's not, the side effects that I have heard from, many, many people at this point, because I have, healthcare is another side of my life, have been quite minimal. There are 2 dosages, so I haven't talked to as many people who've had the second dose yet, which I do, but I do understand the second dose does cause even more symptoms. It can.
Symptoms, yeah.
So, but no, I agree with you. I think that I don't think that people need to think that, and now we'll be back how life was. I think that's the part.
Yeah, no. It's this. We're a long way away from that.
We are
situation.
not there, right? This is, this will hopefully allow us to get to some level of neutral, so that we can now start, really moving forward in the way that this shift has now caused. But yeah, okay. So those are kind of the 2 big things we wanted to talk about. Obviously, like we said, there's a lot of current events happening right now. And we throughout our season, obviously, I'm sure there will be much more for us to report on, with that. But
let me add the breathing thing. I just wanted to add one thing that I forgot to mention while you were talking about it. I've been doing, I guess, for the past several months now, just a little bit. Now, I'm not going whole hog on it because it's an in-depth thing, but some of y'all might have heard of Wim Hof. And if you haven't heard of him, he's like they call him the Iceman or whatever, but he's been reported, well, not reported. They've shown all the results of what he's done with his body. He's basically practicing the Tibetan breathing techniques. And I don't know if you know the Tibetan monks, where they're in the Himalayas or the mountains in freezing temperatures,
right, and high altitudes,
keeping at high altitudes and keeping their body temperature consistent. And he's doing that. He's been in ice baths for like an hour, like in ice, and he's been able to keep his core temperature consistent,
98.6,
stable, consistent. And he does it through breathing and through other techniques. Now, I've done the cold shower bit. It actually does help. It actually, I actually feel some differences. But the breathing part is what I feel is important for singers and for musicians. He has free breathing stuff, apps, whatever, and on YouTube. That's what I do. It's like an 8-minute thing. It's real quick. But I think that little exercise will actually help your lung strength, because it's teaching you how to hold your. So the other piece that he does, he holds his breath for like ridiculous amounts of time. And practicing doing that can build your lung strength. So I think that's something that people should check out.
No, and beyond just as a singer, I mean, that's just in general for good health. Breath is the connection between life and death. Yes. That's what actually allows when they determine you dead or alive, not the brain. Yep. Believe it or not, the brain can be kind of completely gone and you still, but it's the breath.
Yep.
And it's the ability of the breath to sustain on its own. So without ventilators, without these things, that's how you determine someone's alive or dead. And so it's a really, really, it's profound then in terms of how critical breath is to our livelihood and to our physiology and into, hydration and breath. oxygen, water, these are the things that really, so yeah, even beyond being a singer, it's just a good practice. Swimmers, people who are really, really strong swimmers, their ability, I mean, they're doing those laps back and forth. They're not getting out of the water. I mean, they don't put their head up until they get to the end.
Right.
That most of those things, they're just swimming underwater, going.
Yeah.
Right. It's a breath control situation. And they have to learn how to activate muscles while controlling the breath. So breathing is a really, it's a fundamental thing. That sounds
so check
good.
that out.
And meditation can add to that too, to really focus on the breath.
That's part of the deal too. And a lot of things, the exercise too, it brings oxygen into your system. It really oxygenates you. There's video of people actually laughing because they have so much oxygen in their body.
It's probably a weird little bit of a high. So very nice. Nice. All right, we're about to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I said I wanted to do we called it, what did we decide to call? We called it a
pumped up or
PO'd, something that's going on with our current. Even now, there's a lot to be PO'd about, but I'm talking about specific in music.
Right.
Anything that has pumped you up, Will, or PO'd you?
In music,
just anything going on that you maybe saw, even if it was a song, anything, just so we can spread a little bit of positive, or maybe keep people aware of what to maybe stay away from.
Well, I mean, I'm always pumped up on music. I mean, music really is the high.
It is the high. I agree.
I was so one of the things that I've been getting my classes together, and I'm teaching winter classes, and it's basically a lot of music history. I got jazz history, pop music history, music of the African diaspora. But one thing that I guess this is sort of past. It's like not back in the day, but the 90s.
Oh, that's back in the day, baby. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it is back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Probably around 2000s or so. Yeah, well, 20 years ago.
That's still 20 years ago. Yeah.
But one thing that was heartening, because I'm teaching that class on the African diaspora, and there was an artist by the name of Kanda Bongo Man, who was out of the DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo. And he had, when the Congo basically, shut down, and they weren't even letting people out, and he was able to get out, and he was the musical ambassador, basically the Bob Marley of the Congo, going all around the world. He couldn't go back home, but he was going all around the world promoting the music. And it was I was just watching some videos and documentaries and things, and it was just heartening to see how people supported him, and the immigrant community supported him. But he's like driving around in this, in a van with a U-Haul in the back, and he's like the premier artist of the Congo, just trucking it like any indie artist.
Right.
But but he's making big stages. Like he went all around the world and promoted the music, and that's how the soukous music. If any of you are familiar with soukous music, it became popular basically through his efforts, and so that sort of pumped me up. That you can make a difference with your music.
Absolutely, even if it's I was just listening to someone. Even if it's an audience of one. Don't always just wait for the hype, but that's a nice pump you up. Very nice. I wish I had a pumped me up. No, I have a lot of pumps up, but I did have a slight PO. I attended during this, I think it was right before Christmas, an online workshop, and I'm not going to name the name of it because I don't want to disrespect. I think that people are taking efforts to educate musicians right now and develop artists is commendable. So I don't, no disrespect. So I'm not going to name names, but there was a topic that really troubled me because they were really promoting, the person presenting was really promoting not anything to do with artist development to me. And the thing was, this whole workshop was called like artist development. And they were talking about how, you need to be pumping out anywhere between, 52 to 100 songs a year. Your budget should be $2,500, up to $2,500 a week on, social media ads. One person was gloating. Yeah, I did 4 songs on Thanksgiving Day. Boom. And I know for a fact that has nothing to do with artist development. Now that might be some business, we scheming, we got it, we rolling. Yes. But what troubled me is, a lot of the people in this audience are like, who's in our audience, who are, developing people who are just beginning this process, or maybe have begun it, but by no means have budgets that could, do up to $2,500 a week or a month or even a year of doing, social media ads. And it just seemed to me they were perpetuating the very thing that's causing, I think, the music industry to be myopic.
Deteriorate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And not talking about how you develop your craft, not talking about, as an independent artist, you actually have control of your time. You don't need to feel like you've got to rush and be this and have every ad and have this and hurry up and get this many thousands of dollars per month. Because a lot of, it's particularly in hip hop and rap, because these are the genres of music that their audience are heavy streamers. So they are making 5 and 6 figure a month, revenue. But it's a very, very specific formula, and it's not one that includes artistry. I promise you, not at all. It's one that is a business, marketing, almost scheme. But that's where music, to me, in a lot of ways, is going. And so it PO'd me, and it really made me kind of think about what's the future of jazz, R&B, and soul for real. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. There are tons of jazz, R&B, and soul artists out here that have amazing music. But when I say future, is what platform are we going to be able to do this to create enough revenue to continue to do this? Because when you have schemes like that, it's very difficult to compete with that. And so it did PO me. I think that we're going to have an episode later this season to really talk about the future of these special genres that really are the base of so much of other music, Black music, period. I said this to Will, I think I might have alluded to it in one of our other pre-recorded interviews, about feeling almost a sense of prostitution as artists. We're giving, but we're not getting, it's like what we're kind of giving away. And then what you just said, as your current trend of selling, things for $100 million that could be worth so much more potentially. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have the answer. It's just a PO, I will say this, that I don't want artists to feel discouraged, because we're so needed right now. Oh my gosh. Artists are so needed. We just have been artists. Our culture has been conditioned to not value artistry of what it really is. But what the culture really needs right now, what it actually really needs, is the beauty and the sustenance. That's the word I want, of artistry. We need that. We need the escapes. We need the connection.
The answer to your PO-ness is in one of our pre-recorded sessions that y'all will hear coming up with one of the artists we interviewed. And it just underscores the fact that your music will be received in the right place.
Exactly.
And at the right time.
At the right time.
And so just keep making it.
Yeah. And just so don't get caught up in the formula, I guess, is the point. And you'll hear this from our upcoming guests. And we say this even in our previous guests. It's about you as the artist and the passion. That's ultimately where you will not have scarcity, where you'll have a lot of abundance. So I was PO just listening to it, because I wanted to jump in and be like, wait a minute. But
it's the protective mother in you that they're spitting out this information to people that will probably go and act on it and mess themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I dig that.
That's what it is. So, all right. Well, that is good. We're at our 40-minute mark. I got my little timestamp, but I want to make sure we still stay considerate to our time. I do want to say there's just, we have a new playlist on Spotify.
We have a new playlist.
And I've wanted to do this for a long time because we've had so many wonderful artists. And so basically every artist, we have over 50 songs, over 50 artists of music that's on this playlist. And it's all people that we have interviewed. Yep. All people that we've interviewed.
And Kenya's on it.
I'm on it. And Will is on it. Will is on it too. So our music is on it. And so please, if you just check out, you can search, I don't know, put the link in the show notes, but it's 3MB Podcast Artist Spotlight. Listen while you work, listen while you drive, listen while you clean, listen while you chill and breathe and meditate. Really, there's a type of song from house music to jazz to I don't know what genres are, just really beautiful. I've been listening to it pretty much every day just because I like to be a DJ and make sure what I put together made sense. I'm the curator, yes, of it. And so we want you guys, that's a way to support the artist as well as just by streaming and liking and subscribing to the playlist. So.
Yep. Awesome.
All right.
That's
Will.
It.
This is it. This is it for the beginning, but we've got such goodies coming up. So you guys make sure you stay tuned and continue to share with other artists and friends and family and all that. And make sure, give us some reviews and definitely subscribe to our YouTube so that you can keep watching us.
Keep watching. All righty. We'll see you all next week.
You guys take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Please subscribe to our podcast on your podcast player and leave us a rating and review. Also, please leave us a comment on our Facebook or Instagram page. And if you would like to contact us about a specific topic, you can email us at 3mbpodcast@gmail.com.